Okay, let's continue. So question 12. M is a mixture of substance X, Y, and Z. So X, Y, and Z is there, and when you mix them together, they become M. So X is one substance, 2 is another, Z is the third substance. Mixture is separated using the step as shown. So as you can see there, mixture M is all those three things in there. And when you use a magnet, you can see that substance Z got separated. So substance Z is a magnetic material because only magnetic material will be attracted by a magnet. And second one, you add water into a mixture M that is left behind, and then you pour it into a filter funnel with a filter paper, and then you can see substance X is there, which means that substance X that got trapped into filter paper is insoluble. So insoluble substance can only be separated by this method called filtration. So in filtration, you have filter paper and you have filter funnel, and whatever substance that is insoluble, for example sand or any kind of metal, will be trapped there definitely. And the third one, you can see that they heated up the water until it evaporated, and substance Y will be remain there. Okay, so substance Y is something that is soluble in water, and if substance is soluble, you have to heat it up by this method. So you can see that there's a Bunsen burner heating up the substance Y in evaporating dish until only the substance Y is left behind. So this method is called evaporation. And then which of the following is the correct identity of X, Y, and Z? So X just now is a magnetic material. So if you look at the choice, only iron fillings is magnetic. So salt and sand is none. So it's quite obvious the answer is A. But let's just double check. It says there substance Y is salt, and salt is definitely soluble in water to form a salt solution. And then Z is the sand, and as I mentioned, sand is not soluble, therefore so I'm wrong, so I'm being careless again. So substance Z is magnetic material, so substance Z should be iron filling. Okay, so C, I'm being careless again. So Z is the one should be iron filling. So let's remove A and D. And then after Z, X is the one that is insoluble. So X should be sand. And this one is salt. Again, salt solution. Therefore, the answer is C. So always double check your answer. Be careful with X, Y, and Z because sometimes you're very confident like what I did just now, and then I got the answers wrong. Okay, next question, number 13. The diagram shows the different level of cell organization. So they like to ask about cell organization in true or false and in MCQ. So which of the following shows a tissue? So tissue means a group of cells, and A here is a cell. So if there's only one, then it's a cell. If a group of cells like this one, then they're grouped together as many like that, become a tissue. Therefore the answer is B. And when a lot of these tissue work together, they'll become this one, organ. So organ is made up of several tissues. For example, in the heart, you have muscular tissue, you have connective tissue. We're going to learn all of those in year 9 and above. And when you have many organs, for example, there's a liver, there's a stomach, there's a large intestine, small intestine, this is what we call as organ system. So in our body we have several systems. This In this one is digestive system because you have your stomach and intestine. You also have your breathing system. You also have your circulatory system, for example the heart there with blood vessels and so on. And therefore the answer for this question is B. Next one, question number 14. Figure 11 shows the step of preparing a slide of onion cells for observation under a microscope. The steps are not in order, so these steps are not shown in your textbook, but we have done the practical for this one. So you have to remember the step on how to do it. So let's have a look at number 1. Mounting needle is just to hold the cover slip like that, and then you have the glass slide there and the sample is already in. And in here, mounted needle, cover slip, so you can see that the cover slip at first sits on top, now it's covered down like that. And if you look at number 3, you add iodine or methyl blue solution. This one is to add color because most of the time the sample is colorless, so when you add iodine or methylene blue you can see it clearer under microscope, and you can see that there's no glass slide here first. And number 4, onion cell, glass slide, and forceps, and then you can see that only the first one it mentioned what are the sample that you're using, therefore you're using onion cells there. So the step should be you put onion cells there, so this one should be number 1. And then after you have your onion cells, you add color because most of the time onion is colorless, and then you try to cover it with cover slip, and number 4 it's covered with the slip. Therefore the answer should be 4 3 1 2. 4 3 1 2. Therefore the answer is D. Number 15. Figure 12 represents a human organ system responsible for the movement of blood. So organ system responsible for blood. So you have the heart there, and you also have all these blood vessels around your body, and inside the blood vessels there are blood, and the name of this system where you have your heart and blood vessel is called transport system. It's D. Another name for it is circulatory system, so it's a D. Number 16. Study the experiment in figure 13. So you have wooden block and you have spring balance. Spring balance is used to measure force, which is measured in Newton, if you don't remember. So the unit for force is Newton with capital letter N. So in this test, you have rough plank and smooth plank. So rough, you can see there, it's rough like that. And here it's just smooth. There's no crevices or anything there. To ensure a fair test, which of the following variables should stay the same throughout the experiment? So you can see that the one of the plank is rough, one is smooth. So other than that, the rest should be similar. You have wooden block should be similar, you have spring balance should be similar. The only things that's different must be rough or smooth plank. So mass of the wooden block should be the same. So variables mean the things that you change. So wooden block you should not change, which means it should stay the same. So yes and yes, so B and D is out. Type of spring balance must also be the same, so that one is correct. And then you're comparing between the rough and smooth plank, therefore this one should not be the same, therefore the answer is C. So this one is not, because if you're using the same type of surface then there's no point of doing the test at all. So the answer is C. Number 17. Adnan weighed 500 Newton. He climbs up the escalator and reached the first floor in 25 seconds. Calculate the work done by Adnan. So take note of the number. So 500 N mean this is the force. And reach the first floor in 25 seconds. So time is given here, but in this question it's just a trick. And then you have two distance given. One is horizontal, another one is vertical. So most of the time students are confused which one to be used. calculate the work done by Adnan. So work done, you have to remember the formula. Work done mean you have to apply force which cause an object to move a certain distance. For example, if you throw a ball, then you apply force, the ball will not stay still, it will go to a certain distance. It means work has been done. If you push a ball but it doesn't move at all, it means no work has been done. Okay, so in this case, calculate the work done by Adnan. So the force is given, so you can just write down 500 newtons. So simple. The distance is a tricky one. So first we eliminate this one because that one is just trick, and you have two type of distance. There is one very important keywords in this question, which is climb up. Because when you climb up, you are working against one type of force, and that force is called gravity or gravitational force. So as you go up, you're pushing your body against the gravity. Therefore, the as you go up, you're pushing your body against gravity. Therefore, the distance should be as you go up. Therefore, should be times by 10 meter. Therefore, 500 times by 10 meter is 5,000 and Newton meter. Newton times m become Newton meter, or the unit that you can use is joules. Therefore, the answer is B. Now, when should you use the horizontal distance? The time you use horizontal distance is if you push an object straight like that. Let's say this is Adnan, and he pushed the object from A to B, and the distance is 15 meter. That is the time you use the formula work done is equal to force times distance, and then instead of the height you're using this distance here, which is 15 meters. So 500 newton times by, so in this case the box is the one that is 500 newton times by 15 meter, then you will get 7,500 newton meter. Okay, because when you push object horizontally, you're actually working against frictional force there. That's the word. Then you go against, and at the same time you are working against different kind of force as well. But you're learning more detail in year 9 in the future. Okay, number 18, figure 15 show a coconut falling from its tree. So figure 15 is this one, and you can see coconut falling from on top of here, then it's going downwards. At which position does the coconut have the highest potential energy, gravitational potential energy? When we talk about gravity, we always talk about the height or the location of object. So it's actually gravitational potential energy. So we talk about the location of object, and the higher it is, the higher the potential energy. And if you can see here, A located at the highest position and D is the lowest position. So that's how the gravitational potential energy changes as well. So the highest gravitational potential energy is actually at A there. Number 19, study the information in figure 16. Okay, figure 16, plant and animal waste. For example, cow shed, raw garbage, and it's decomposed by bacteria. Decomposed mean all those animals that have died will be eaten by the bacteria, and once they eat the bacteria, they produce gas. What type of energy source is shown in figure 16? So if you look here, there's biogas. So it's a very big hint there. And when we talk about biogas, we talk about biomass. So it's A. So you have to refer back to energy chapter 7 if I'm not wrong, and you will learn that there are different kind of energy. So let's have a look in your textbook for a moment. And let's go for chapter 7 energy, and let's go to page of 7147 there, alternative source of energy. So it should be 1521. Let's have a look. Oops. So you can see that there are many alternative sources of energy: hydroelectric power station, geothermal, fuel cell, biomass, solar, wind, tidal. And just now the answer was biomass. So let's have a look. So in biomass, what happened is that, so you have all the substance in the cow shed, there's excrement of the livestock, and then you have food processing company that recycle all the materials, all the garbage, and all of these things are combined together to become organic waste, which is decomposed by bacteria. And once they decompose it, all the gas will be released to generate power inside the turbine inside this plant. So they are specialized for that one. So if you have a look at the turbine should be this one. So normally what happens is that we use gas supply where we will heat up water. In the boiler you will heat up the water, which changes to steam and turn on the turbine here. But just now, instead of using steam, they're using the gas to turn the turbine directly, which in the end produce electric current in generator there. Okay, so if you don't remember any part of this, please have a look back at this chapter. Okay, let's continue. Number 20, figure 17 shows wind as a form of renewable source of energy. So renewable mean can be used over and over again, or basically you can use this energy more than once. Wind energy can be used to generate electricity. Which of the following shows the correct energy change in the station generated by the wind? So what happens is that when the wind blows this fan, it will move like that, and once it moves, you will have kinetic energy. Anything related to movement will be kinetic energy. And then as the fan move around, you have mechanism inside here which will transform all those kinetic energy into electric current. Therefore kinetic energy to electrical energy. Actually, it's also possible for it to be chemical energy, because if they decide to put a battery here, then it will be chemical energy. But then again, before it goes to chemical energy, it will always be from electrical energy first. Therefore the answer is C. Next one, 21. Which of the following is the right way to conserve energy? So conserve energy means to save energy. Do not get mixed up. There is also another term where they mention conservation of energy. This is a different thing. If you have a look inside your textbook, it mentioned this one. So energy can change from one form to another, but it cannot be created or destroyed. So this is known as conservation of energy, which means that whatever you get from the sun, which is light energy, will be used by the plant in photosynthesis to make foods, which become chemical potential energy. These vegetables will be eaten by animals, and animals will store it as their meat, which is also chemical potential energy. And when they are eaten or then die, this chemical potential energy will be stored in their body, and after millions of years they become fossil fuels. And when we burn these fossil fuels as petrol, the chemical potential energy will be released again and be transformed into kinetic energy, electrical energy, and whatever energy used, and this energy will be transformed again. So it cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed or changed from one form to another. So do not get mixed up with uh, the question that we're doing, which is how to conserve energy, which means how to save energy. So let's have a look. A, cooking without putting the lid on pan. So if you do not cover the lid, it will cook longer, because if you cover the lid, what happens is that this is the pan, and then you cover on top of it, the heat will be trapped, and once the heat will be trapped, it will heat up any foods inside there faster. So next one, switch on the air conditioner all the time. All the time is bad. Switch on all the lamps in the house. I don't see any reason why we should use that, so it's not saving energy. Turn off the light when leaving an empty room. So that should be the best way to save energy. So the answer is D. Number 22. Which of the following proves that a piece of metal is already a magnet? So it's asking what is the characteristic of a magnet. So a magnet can attract a magnet, but it doesn't prove it's a magnet. Both ends of the compass needle will attract to it. Not possible, because if you look at a magnet, there will always be two poles. One is north, one is south. And if you put the north pole here next to it, it will repel. And if you put a south pole next to the north pole, it will attract. So an important characteristic of magnet is that one pole should attract, another one should repel. But if you put an iron, let's say an iron object here, okay, now let's put it at the bottom. If you put any object, let's say here iron, it will always be attracted to either one. So that's why we cannot use this one to identify it. We need to use another magnet and figure out which one repel it. And then C, copper wire is repelled by it. Copper wire is not, it will not repel by a magnet. And D, one end of the compass needle is repelled by it. So as you know, compass is a magnet. It also have the north and south pole, therefore it should be repelled by it. Therefore the answer is D. Number 23. Harun has three unidentified rod X, Y, and Z. The rods can be either a magnet, copper, or iron. So take note, magnet, one will attract and repel. Copper, it will not attract, because copper is a non-magnetic material, and iron will attract no matter what, because it's a magnetic material. Experiment 1. You have the north pole and you have the south pole, and it says attract. So as I mentioned just now, it will most likely be iron. Rod X most likely be iron. North pole, south pole, one is attract, one repel. So if one always attract, one always repel, most likely rod Y is a magnet. And the third one shouldn't be nothing happen, because copper is non-magnetic material. Therefore based on that, you can see that rod Z should be non-magnetic material, so it's a copper. So A and B is out, and then Y, as we also just know, is a magnet. So this is a magnet, iron is not, therefore the answer is C. Question number 24. Figure 19a show a magnetic field around a single bar magnet. So this is the magnetic field. So it's actually simple to throw it. And then what would be the magnetic field pattern if two single bar magnets are arranged as shown in figure 19b? So you can see that S and S are similar, so this is what we call as like pole, and they should repel. So when we draw a repel, it's always advisable to draw an X at the center, and then after that you show that there is a repel like that, and yes, and after that my advice is to keep it simple. Draw 1 2 3 1 2 2. Actually it should be until the end. Let's draw it till the end of the pole. Then 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So that's the simplest representation of a magnetic field. So in this choice, you can see that two of them shows repulsion, and if you look there, A and C are showing attraction, so that one is wrong, and B and D are correct, but the problem is here. So if you look there, N is repelling. When there's no magnet at the around it, it will always try to attract, like this one, it will try to attract any object that is around it. So it must be like that. The answer is B. If you're confused, you can look at the single magnet here. You can see the north pole is trying to attract any object around it, and has also tried to attract any object around it. Okay, so the answer for this question is B. Next one. Question number 25. What are the effects of the following drugs on human body? So both of these are considered as to be harmful drugs. So let's have a look at cannabis first. Cannabis, and then it says effect. Effect mean what are the things that you can observe as well. So let's just have a look. So cannabis will not kill bacteria, so A and B is out, and it can cause slight loss of sensation, but it's not the most correct one. And any user who use cannabis will have dry eyes and mouth. And cocaine used to be a painkiller, but they are misusing it, that's why it become a harmful. So that's why it can cause loss of sensation, therefore the answer is D. So the painkiller that we use usually are Novocaine. Cocaine are also used when the pain is very under high tolerance, a very strong pain, then you're given cocaine as well. Usually happen when a person broke their leg or have a very heavy injury due to accident. 26. The information in figure 20 was found on a packet of cigarette. So smoking can cause fatal diseases. Fatal mean it can lead to death. Select two lung disease caused by cigarette smoking. So lung disease is a general term we use when we want to say um, what cigarettes can do, and bronchitis can be found inside lungs. That's why we can accept that one. Influenza mean fever, so A is out, and then again fever, so C is also out. And emphysema is another disease that is inside the lung, therefore the answer is B. Hepatitis C is STI, which is sexually transmitted infection, which you're going to learn at the end of the chapter of year 8. Therefore the answer for this question is B. 27. Figure 21 is gas Y. Gas Y is a noble gas. So which statement about gas Y is correct? So Y makes up 79% of air. That one is not true. 79% is nitrogen. So noble gas is only about 1%. So noble gas about 1% only in the air. Gas Y is unreactive, so this one is correct. Same with nitrogen also, they are unreactive. Start with the N, so N unreactive. Why we like a glowing spleen? So that one is also no. The one that make a glowing spleen is oxygen, because oxygen support combustion. Noble gas does not. And then so it's mentioned there, support combustion. So the best answer for this question is B. 28. Carol carried out 3 tests shown in figure 22 to determine the identity of gas Q. So in gas Q, you put a glowing spleen, and the glowing spleen relights. So GLO. When we say glowing spleen, we talk about oxygen. And when it says relight, it means there is oxygen in the test. Then gas Q, you put into lime water and lime water stay colorless. And then this lime water is test for carbon dioxide. But since it remains colorless, it means there is no carbon dioxide there. And the third one, you're using a lighted splint, the gas Q, and no pop sound heard. So for lighted splint, it's a test for hydrogen. So I believe you can use that as a hint, light H. And then since there is no pop sound, it's also X. And with all this one, what is gas Q? Then I take only oxygen. So nitrogen there, no test at all for nitrogen. That's why it's not shown there. So carbon dioxide just now is lime water. If it's positive, it will produce white precipitate. So that's what you want to see for carbon dioxide. It shouldn't be colorless. Instead, it should be white precipitate there. For hydrogen, what you want to hear is pop sound. So what happens is that the hydrogen will react with oxygen in the air, and then it will react very quickly to produce H2O in the air, water vapor. 29. Which of the following is a type of blood vessels? So there's three types of blood vessel only, and the answer is vein, artery, and capillaries. So vein, V-E-I-N, so it carry blood back in to heart. Just artery carries blood away from heart, and capillaries see change, so or exchange of substance between the blood and tissues. So therefore the answer is D. So you have to memorize this one. This is a direct question. 30. Table 3 shows information about the lifestyle of a person for 50 years old adults. And then which adult is likely to have a healthy heart? So healthy, this one is just a common sense. So if a person exercises regularly, therefore it should be healthier. So A and C should be out. So this one is good. And then a person that eat balanced diet should be healthier. So this one is quite obvious. So the answer is B, and shouldn't smoke at all. So it's B. 31. Figure 23 show 4 components of blood. Which component helps carry oxygen throughout the body? So only one part of the blood carry oxygen. It should be the red blood cell. Nothing else can carry oxygen in your blood. And you can see here, this one is what we call as biconcave shape, and that is the shape for red blood cell. Therefore the answer is A. So these two at the center are two types of white blood cell. So white blood cell, the function is to kill bacteria. And then the third one, D, the smallest things in your blood is called platelets. And platelets is yours for clotting. So every time you got injured, platelets will be released, so to make sure that your blood will can be clot. Blood clotting means your blood will dry up. Blood clotting. Okay, therefore the answer is A for this question. So 32 onwards, you have not learned. So we're gonna stop until there. All right. Good luck. Thank you. Bye.